Now let me fix it so they can see you guys. All right, there we go. There's Brother Muhammad. Okay. And you guys can start whenever you're ready.
Hold on. Okay, I don't know.
What happened to his video? Wait a minute.
You cannot.
Okay, here you go. Hold on. Let me try you again. Okay, go ahead, Jamal. There you go.
Okay. Now, can I do it?
Yes, you can start whenever you're ready. You were streaming.
Okay.
Okay. So whenever you're ready.
إن الحمد لله أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Brother Muhammad, جزاك الله خير. You are in a car and I have a basketball with your daughter. And alhamdulillah, me actually am in the hospital. I just went to the hospital with my daughter. I came here in the hotel just to speak the most important topic. And this topic actually is happening a lot. You know, a lot of people come to me, to the masjid, youth, male and females, want to get married. And they have nothing because in love. Because of in love. And that Brother Muhammad is a serious problem about our youth, our kids. They know the rules and regulation of Islam for the boy or the girl to get married. And unfortunately, some people, and actually, hold on, I have a headphone. I'm in a hotel. I don't have to say hotel. Can you hear me? Everybody can hear me, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Sure. Yeah, a lot of people actually, kids come to the masjid, and somebody told me, yeah, you can, if you propose to each other, and no problem with that. Like Christian, exactly, the boyfriend, girlfriend. And they said, Allah is witness. And the Islamic rules, brothers and sisters, we spoke before. So, number one, both of them agree, yes. The most important thing, wali, a guardian. A guardian, by the way, the father, or there is no father, a brother. No brother, grandfather. From the father's side. No father's side, the mom's side, the uncle. And if it's a new Muslim, a trust person, not an imam, by the way, a trust person to understand the wali, the guardian, that you consider her his own daughter or her mother or a sister, or very close to him, not any guardian. So Brother Muhammad, please tell us the legality also about this. Islamically, we know what we spoke about many times. Sister Layla spoke, myself spoke, Dr. Asim, and that speak about this, Brother Muhammad. It's very, very important.
So one of the things that Assalamu alaikum. I just want to kind of, I know we talked about a little bit, we touched up on this subject here and there a little bit about, we're always focused on our youth. We're always focused on the kids. We're so focused on we're always focused on the parents. But there's also that age group that we kind of like not forget about, but we don't worry about as much as we do when we worry about the younger generation, the younger kids, right? We worry about the 13 and under. We worry about the adults who are parents with kids. We always talk about the parents, but we never talk about those 16 to 25-year-olds.
Yes.
Right. That age group where they're online, they're on the Zooms, they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on Rumble and all these other apps, and they're scrolling and they're watching and they're learning, and that's the problem, right? They're learning, and internet is it's good and it's bad, and I try to explain to the kids, because when I get out of Salah, I'll give you an example. I got out of Salah the other day, and a bunch of the brothers I talked to, the younger generation kids, a lot of them are getting married. They're in that age of 21, 22, 23, and they want to get married. And oh, brother, I met this girl, mashallah, she's a hijabi, she's a good girl, and I want to get married to her. She's so pretty. She's okay. Well, you told me everything. She looks pretty. She sounds smart, but do you know anything else about her? Did you talk to her dad? Did you talk to her brothers? Did you, I get it. Looks, we men, we just look at looks, and I always tell them, like, looks go away. At the end of the day, you're gonna be stuck with a personality. You're gonna be stuck with somebody who, whether they're a good Muslim and they're gonna be an awesome wife, or they're gonna be Americanized, Westernized, whatever you want to call it, and not know the Islamic rights and responsibilities of a wife. So talking to these brothers, I kind of realized that they don't really have anybody to really steer them in the right direction of what to expect in a marriage. And what they do is they watch these social media programs and they listen to these people who say, there's a woman online who says, I don't cook for my husband, I don't clean for my husband, I don't do his laundry, I don't do any of these things for him, but he pays all my bills and he does all this work because I'm not his mother, I'm his wife. And you hear this woman who watch these and they say, well, she's right, I'm not his mom, I'm his wife, he needs to do his own laundry. But you're not working, you're not doing anything other than taking care of the kids, and he's doing his responsibilities. He's taking care of the house, he's taking care of you, he's making sure you're safe, making sure you're secure. So you have your roles and he's doing his roles. So when you hear these things on social media, and I watch these things, the same things that these guys are watching, because it's funny when they come to me, I will say to them, oh my gosh, I just saw that video. The same video you saw, I just watched that. And I started laughing because these brothers who are on, they're wearing the whole Islamic, mashallah, they're wearing the kufi, they're wearing all this stuff. And they're saying, oh, brother, you have to make sure that your wife obeys you. And you got to make sure that she does everything for you. And she has to do, no, Habibi, let's take a step back, right? Let's take a step back. Does your wife work? Well, yeah. Is she helping you with the bills? Well, yeah. Well, right there, that's not supposed to work that way, right? Like, you have to be responsible for her bills. You have to be responsible. Well, the way that the world is right now, and then I have to go into a topic about how to live below your means, right? The expectations of life in the Western society. We expect to live like millionaires, all of us. And the woman expects the man to make millions of dollars before they get married. The woman expects the man to have a house and 2 cars ready for her before they get married. And, that the expectations of the wife, well, sister, hold on, sister. We got to understand that there's a time, right? There's a thing that you have to do little by little. First, you live in a small apartment together. You get to know each other better, learn each other's habits, learn each other's, buttons, learn each other first. Then you move on to the next stages, right? Little by little, shway, small steps. But they want to just jump into these things. Oh, well, we love each other. Well, love comes and goes.
Yeah,
right.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I know Annie. Mashallah, sister Annie. She loves you one day, and sometimes she just wants to. Oh boy,
No. Believe me, always in love. But sometimes, yeah, sometimes we clash. But believe me,
Of course.
the key, brother, is very important. The key, even when we got married. Number one, respect and honor.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, we never have this kind of language in our house, period.
Yes.
Period. And sometimes, because sometimes with the war in Gaza, I get angry. She never calm down. And then after that, Ibrahim, yes, say that on your anger. Oh, yes, you're right. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, and there's plenty of times when I meet couples that are married. And the one thing I always tell them is, when you're angry, don't talk. Right? You don't talk when you're angry, because you're gonna say something that you can't take back. Right? And
hold on. Your name Muhammad, and also Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's better if you are angry, sit. If you sit, stand up. If not, go down or leave.
Yeah.
And Umar, Ali radiallahu anhu, and Fatima. Fatima, the love of Rasulullah. So when he got angry with Fatima, his wife, the daughter of Rasulullah, what he did? He went straight to the masjid, he sat asleep in the masjid. That is the adab of the Sahaba, the adab and marriage. Yes, but this kind of generation, brother, my generation with all my respect, your generation, you born in America, I born in Palestine, completely different. Now, different, completely different. How to deal with this to fix the problem?
It's no matter where you're born, no matter where you're from. I don't care if you're if you're born in Europe or you're born in Australia. People are people. Humans are humans, and Muslims are Muslims, right? They're like I didn't you just said, brother, the Prophet Muhammad said, when you're angry, leave. He gave the rules. So and these rules that the Prophet gave to us how many years ago, they're just coming into play with therapy, with counseling, with any type of marriage counseling. These counselors, these therapists, they're taught to teach you. They're taught to tell you, hey, look, when you're angry, take a walk, go to the gym, go run, go work out. They're taught to tell you these things. We've already been doing this 1,400 years ago. We've been told to do all this stuff. So it's nothing new to us. So it doesn't matter where you're born. It doesn't matter if I'm American, if I'm this, if I'm that. We're Muslims. We have rules.
Yes.
We have the rules already written down how we do things. So when I talk to these younger brothers, these 22, 23, even 19, 20-year-olds about marriage, because in their minds they don't want to do anything haram. They want to get married so they can get away from the haram. And when I tell them, okay, what's your expectation of a wife? What do you think it is to be married? Right? And because a lot of these brothers, and I'm really upset about it. It really upsets me. It really makes me sad. But these brothers that I talk to, they don't have real good role models for parents, right? Because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to look at our parents and say, okay, my dad treats my mom like this. My mom treats my dad like this. So this is the way a marriage is supposed to be. But you have the old school mindset brothers that, think that, okay, well, the kids are my wife's responsibility. I just have to pay the bills. That's all I have to do. And the rest is up to my wife to take care of the children. So I don't really want to get with my kids and talk with my kids because I want to work 7 days a week. And we talked about this a lot, where I keep telling people, you got to spend time with your kids. The sisters, the daughters got to spend time with their dads. The brothers, the boys got to spend some time with the mom. The kids need to see the mom and the dad interacting with each other in a way of respect.
Yes.
Right? The laughing, the joking. They have to see that, it's okay for a dad to get up and do the dishes. It's okay. It's all right to show your kid the first thing you do when you wake up out of bed is what? When you wake up out of bed, the first thing you do is you clean your sheets off. You wipe your sheets off and you fold and you make your bed. That's an accomplishment, right? You teach your kids these things. That doesn't mean your mom has to do the bed every time you get up out of bed. You could do your own bed. There's things that you can teach your kids at a younger age. But when you listen to these young kids that are talking to me, they don't have a very good framework of what a marriage is supposed to be like, because their expectation is, well, my dad did this and my mom, she was like this. So I expect my wife to be like that. And I said, well, Islamically speaking, that's not the way your mom and dad should be. But that's a whole different topic. I tell the brothers, maybe I should come into your house and talk to your mom and dad about how their marriage is, because this is not a good Islamic household, right? And listen, my family's not perfect. Nobody's perfect, and I'm not looking. And I tell the brothers, listen, there's less. If you ever talk to a sheikh or an imam or any brother that tells you that their life is perfect, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. There's no such thing as perfect. If you don't argue, if you don't have arguments within your relationship, then there's something wrong.
You agree.
You have to have arguments. You have to have discussions, right? And so when you see, like, the people who always are lovey-dovey, they're holding hands or they're hugging in public, all this kind of stuff, and oh, well, I want to do that with my wife. Well, you're not really supposed to do public displays of affection out there. That's not what we do. We don't kiss and do all that kind of stuff that you see online. That's not real life.
Yeah, you're right with that, brother. You're right. We're imitating the social media and want to apply it in my life, but you have no idea what's going on in their life.
You only see 5 minutes or 5 seconds of what they're going through. And even when you go, listen, you know, we live in Florida, right? We live in Fort Lauderdale. You can go down to Miami. You can see some stuff in Miami that, you know, it's not, it's bad, right? It's
Yeah.
really rough out there in Miami. Like, we don't even go down to Miami because we're just, let's avoid the whole scene. And I just saw somebody say puppy love. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But when we talk about the beginning stages of a marriage, and I would try to explain to everybody, like, you have that that time when you're engaged, right? What's that called again? When they're engaged before they get fully married?
Engagement.
But in Islam,
Fiance.
no, it's
Fiance.
in Arabic. What is it called in Arabic?
I don't know.
I forgot. Oh my God.
Like courting?
Yeah.
You mean like courting?
Courting, like, you know, you got that time frame where, you know, you talk to her dad, you talk to her family, you got to meet each other. Now you get to go out and hang out with each other and get to know each other. And I think that at that time, and I try to explain to the brothers and the sisters, I tell them, you know, what kind of questions are you going to ask yourselves, each other, right? Oh, I'm going to ask him how much money he's going to be making. I'm going to ask him, you know, what kind of car does he drive? No, sister, please, that's not the questions you're asking, right? And I ask the brothers the same thing. Okay, what's the questions in your top 3 questions in your head? What are you going to ask this girl? Well, I'm going to ask her, you know, is she a big money spender? What's her, you know, what's her expectations? What does she want? You know, is she going to work? Is she going to, okay. But what about Deen? What kind of questions are going to ask about Islamically speaking? Like, aren't you going to ask her, how close do you pray 5 times a day? Do you do Ramadan? Do you fast? You know, how close are you to your Allah? How close are you to Allah? How close are you to your Deen? Just because, and this is the other thing that drives me crazy, is a lot of these brothers, well, brother, she wears a hijab, which means she's closer to Islam. No, that's how many times. And I talk to the brothers. I say, how many times do you see a sister who wears a hijab, but everything else is out there in the open for everybody to see? You know, you have to understand, just because they wear hijab doesn't make them the best Muslims.
You know, you're right, brother. Very important. Like in South Carolina, I was in South Carolina. One brother from Uzbekistan and a girl from Morocco. They want to get married, and the father there, and I was involved. And that girl is a ni'mah. That the ni'mah, and her father teach her. And they asked me a question. The girl asked me a question. One question she asked me. What time Salat al-Fajr? What? So what time Salat al-Fajr? And that boy, he give the complete answer. So I remember very well, 5:52. And also, and he said in the masjid 6:15, the iqamah. And immediately, Baba, I accept. But immediately, why? If the boy know the times of the Fajr and the iqamah in the masjid 6:15 in the masjid, that means he's really fearing Allah and he loves Allah. He's gonna make this girl so happy.
Yeah, inshallah, because you know, and you have to remember, like, the younger generation right now. We talked about this in other talks that we had last couple of weeks ago about how, you know, they're not close to the masjid, right? Our kids, younger generation, stays away from the masjid, and, you know, they don't want to go because it's boring or because of whatever the reasons might be. And it is really hard for them to want to come to the masjid. So you can't, you know, you don't want to blame the kids for not wanting to go to the masjid and knowing how to answer these questions. But those are the questions that you want to ask when you're talking to somebody, right? You don't want to, you know, when you hear these questions and the expectations from these younger brothers, you know, it's scary. It's really scary because their expectations are really like TikTok. They're really social media.
Brother Muhammad, something very important. I'm in Texas now. The whole masajid here, all the masajid, they have activities in the masajid too much. Actually, the masajid, you feel the youth more than even adults in the masajid in South Carolina, in that area in Dallas. I'm in Dallas.
Yeah. Listen, there are messages that do it, but there's not enough of it. And I think maybe one day, inshallah, somebody will create a website or some type of thing where all the masjids can be together and all across America and kind of be on the same page. Inshallah, somebody will do that. And I know it's difficult. I know it's a dream that of one of my biggest dreams, but we can only control what's in our area, right? What where we're at, right? And we as parents, if we're not teaching our kids what a marriage is supposed to be like, what the expectations are, Islamically speaking, how a marriage is supposed to be, somebody else is going to teach our kids. And these, unfortunately, if you scroll through TikTok like I do, if you scroll through Instagram like I do, there's so many people out there that play the part as a professional, right? Our brains are wired. If we see somebody wearing a nursing outfit, a doctor's uniform, and a stethoscope around their neck, oh, that's it, khalas, that's a doctor. I can trust everything he says. And we see the same thing about an imam. We see an imam, mashallah, with a big beard, and he's wearing the whole, Islamic garb, and he's, Prophet Muhammad said, well, did you do the research to see if the Prophet actually said what this guy is saying? Because there's a lot of stuff that these people are saying that's not really true. They make it sound very true. And they're trying to push you in the way of saying, well, Islam is now progressive. We can change the rules of Islam. Well, we don't do that. There's a reason why this religion has lasted so long, because it's not just from the people of the past, it's the people of the future. Islam is a religion that goes for the rest of your life.
Agree.
Like, that's why it's for all of mankind, not just for certain people. It's not just for a group of people. It's for all you mankind. For everybody, this is how you should live your life. And when you're talking about marriage, you don't love for the sake of loving that person. You love for the sake of Allah. And when you do that and you follow the rules, it kind of goes in a perfect, better way, right? Because now it's funny when we talk to elderly people, and you say to people, well, you ask these people, how long have you been married? And you say, oh, and the person says, oh, I've been married for 20 years. Oh my God, mashallah, 20 years is such a long time to be married. How did you do that? And how did you keep it for 20 years? How did you, back in the days, our grandparents, 30, 40, 50 years, they've been married together. Now, if it's 20 years, oh God, mashallah, if you're 5 years, oh my God, how did you last 5 years?
Oh my God. Some people ask this question.
So when you ask these questions and you say, oh, you lasted 5 years, what do you mean 5 years? They act as if it's like a long time to be with somebody, with one person. And so you have to understand, and I tell the brothers all the time, before you get married, do me a favor and stop scrolling the internet for a couple of months. Stop looking online for a couple of months, because the online is really making you think differently, because that's the power of the internet. The internet really does make people think some type of way, different ways. We have hijabi girls who say certain things, that do certain things, that say stuff that it's like ridiculous. And one day when inshallah, when I'm at your house, I'll let you see one of the videos that I'm talking about. But it's scary out there what these sisters are out there wearing a hijab saying about marriage, about how you should do these things to your husband. You should, and it's like, sister, please don't talk like this, and show all your stuff online. And that's the other thing that drives me nuts, is I see these couples who put their whole life online. The brothers, they put their wives on YouTube. They put their wives on social media. They're in their house videotaping everything, and they're making fun of their wife. The wife is making fun of the husband, and they're mashallah 3 million followers are following them, and then they get divorced.
Ya Allah.
And they wonder why. And I always say, don't post your life online. Don't post your good and don't post your bad. Because nobody cares and nobody wants good for you. Unfortunately, Islamically speaking, we don't follow the religion. We don't follow the religion like we're supposed to. Right? We're supposed to want people to succeed. We're supposed to want our brothers and our sisters to be the best of the best. But unfortunately, if people, there's a lot of evil people out there. There's a lot of Muslims, maybe even family members, who don't really wish the best for you. They want good for you, but not the best. They want you to do good, but they don't want you to succeed. It's very it's very weird how we are built as Muslims, where we don't follow the religion the right way.
Ya Allah, very sad, brother. Very sad. Very well. Now, brother, there is a serious problem about a lot of kids. Sometimes behind their parents, they get married. You know, legality, by the way, for the boy or the male and female get married legally. In Florida, in America in general, 18 years and down or up legally.
I mean, every state is different. Every state has their own rules about the age of marriage, the consent to get married. I think Texas might be 16. I know I think Florida is 18. It all kind of depends on what state you're living in to want to get married or to do it without your family to be involved. But that's, again, we're living in a society where it's not ruled by Islamic laws.
Yeah.
Right.
But,
so
sorry, brother Muhammad, brother and sister, Sunnahfollowers here. Islamically, they get married legally something, and Islamically something else. Islamically, there are rules and regulations. Steps, 5, 6 steps. But in the court, when the officer do this, sign up, doesn't matter the father or the mother or the witnesses, not nothing. Actually, in the court, the witnesses. But the key, the guardian. In a court, one person can be witness. But in Islam, 2 men. In the court, woman, no problem. Islamically here. Plus, if the girl, especially never got married before, the virgin, she cannot get married to anybody else except her father or the wali. It's very, very important regarding this. But if she divorced, for example, or a widow, she can choose who the guardian should be.
Well, I know in the American courts, you can just pull anybody off the street and be a witness. You don't have to have like a family member. Anybody, you see a homeless guy out there, hey, come here, I'll give you $10 to be a witness. So it's not really that big of a deal. People forget that in the Western society, a marriage isn't about anything about religion. A marriage is about money, right? Because, in their eyes, you become just another number, just another marriage, just another person, 2 people getting married, and they wait for you to get divorced because they know when you divorce, you got to pay a lot of fees. I was just helping a sister out who was getting divorced, and brother, they wanted $10,000. They want $5,000 for this. They want this because, again, they don't care about that. Everybody wants a cut of your money.
Yeah.
Of your disaster.
Something. Oh, that's good you mentioned that, brother. Brother and sister, listen carefully. A lot of sisters that get married, they carry her husband last name. That's haram. You have to carry the last name should be supposed to your own last name, your father's last name. The family, your family. She's not a slave to carry your husband's last name. Islamically is not correct, number 1. Number 2, you not belong to him, to your husband. You have a family, name of the family, because if they got divorced, you change it again. No, you are not a property. You are a partnership. Husband and wife, partnership. Do not change your last name because of him. Period. Islamically, no.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because that's one of the things that one of the brothers had asked me. Well, she's going to be taking my last name, and if she takes my last name, she's going to represent my family. And I said, no. You don't. She's not supposed to take a last name. Well, no, that's what my mom did with my dad.
She's a slave. My mom is a slave.
I said that's the Western mindset, right? The Western mindset is when you get married, you got to switch your name to your husband's name, and that's not how we do it in Islam. I said you cannot. Yeah. She doesn't take your last name, and the future wife was confused because she was like, "Well, I thought I have to take his name in America." No, you don't.
Absolutely, no. No, brother Muhammad, it's haram. She has to keep the father's last name. That last name, her last name. You are Ziyada. If your wife Ziyada, has to be Ziyada. The Rimani, my wife, by the way, my wife, last name Lynn. My name the Rimani will never change. She's my partner, my wife, not my slave, period.
Absolutely. And then again, that's the problem that I have right now, because the kids, the generation that's coming up that want to get married, like I said before, they don't have a good role model family to really understand the rules of engagement, of marriage.
Agree.
And so when you go to the masjid and you talk to these imams, are they really explaining it in the way of letting them understand, okay, this is what an expectation of marriage is. You keep your last name, you keep your last name, and you become a partnership with each other. You follow the rules of Islam. Your responsibilities and roles are this. Your responsibilities and roles are that. And that's how it works. If an imam is not saying it in the right way, because I watch a lot of these dawah channels. I watch a lot of these guys talking, and the way they answer that question, because a lot of women will go up to these dawah people and say, well, in Islam, your wives become your slaves. And I love the way some of these guys answer it, because it's like, totally what they see online, right? What they see on TV, what they see on the social media. They see these things that these non-Muslims are really trying to push, and they're not asking the right questions to the right people. So as a young couple, you got to find that right person who's going to be able to explain to you in the way you're going to be able to understand.
Yes.
Right? Because you can go to Imam and he can throw all these hadiths and the Quranic verses, but if you're not really explaining it in a way for that younger couple to understand, they're not going to get it. They're going to get bored from you, and they're going to go online and they're going to find somebody who they can relate to.
Agree.
You know,
Brother, there is actually a group, Salafi, blind Salafi. The blind Salafi, they learn from Saudi Arabia, of course, and those people, not Saudi Arabia now, is completely different. But in the time of Saudi Arabia, they consider the women like the time of Quraysh, before Rasulullah migrated to Medina. Quraysh, by the way, for them, the woman is nothing. Before the Islam, 13 years Rasulullah in Mecca, 13 years in Mecca. To consider the woman is nothing. It's like a merchandise. That's why before the Islam, they can marry 100 wives. 100 wives. Imagine this. The problem is the knowledge, the true knowledge of people know. They go online and they make the fatwa online. Sheikh Siri and Sheikh Google and that's the problem. A serious problem. Yeah. But
even for the men, even for the guys, they look at they're looking for people to show them how to be a man, right? And they want to learn from somebody. I think like a year ago or 2 years ago, these guys were looking at Andrew Tate as if he's like the men of all men, and we're gonna follow this guy because he tells men how to be real men, and women need to be women and men are men. And I said, I always tell them, like, we're following these followers, we're following these influencers, right?
Yes.
We follow these social media guys, but we have already the guy that we're supposed to be following. Like we're already followers of somebody already, and it's already written down what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to be men and what a real man is, right? Because right now, I think the younger generation is confused on what a man really is, right? And I think again that goes back to the schools and how the schools like to push the boys. It's okay to be feminine. It's okay to be soft. It's okay to be this. It's okay to be that. No.
Yeah.
That's there's a time and a place, right?
And also,
good.
Also, when you come to the masjid, when a couple, one male and female, want to get married in a masjid, we have a marriage contract, and this one we put the name, the real name, the name Ibrahim Dirimali, Annie Lynn, and so on. No more. But the court, after that, in the court, they're changing that. But Islamically, of course, is completely prohibited. Why?
Of course.
Because belong to your father.
Yeah.
Your last name you can change. Yeah. Yeah, but unfortunately, the knowledge is not there. Alhamdulillah, Sunnah followers, we teach that.
Yeah.
No, by the way, the Dr. Asim, actually from Egypt, he's a PhD, and Sheikh Saad Hassanin from Texas, actually, he, mashallah, 10 qira'at in the Quran, and also many brothers online, just Layla and myself, Sheikh Adi, many people teach, but
Yeah.
not everybody following that.
Not everybody follows it, and the other part that I have, I think when I was talking to a couple in the family, I always have to explain to them, like, you always have to tell the full story of your family, right?
Yeah.
If there's any issues, any health issues, any
Oh, I
type
like
of
that.
diseases,
I like
you
that.
have to tell this guy before you get into a marriage, and before you get into it, you have to say, listen, brother, I have this problem. Or even the brothers, I tell them, look, you got to tell them, you have issues, you have health issues, you have these issues, and if that person still wants you, then you're all good. But as long as you get everything out front, be honest and be truthful, and you tell them all the diseases, all the issues, all the health issues that you got going on, mental health or physical health. I can't have babies. Well, let the guy know that you can't have babies, because maybe that's something that he really wants to do. Or like, and if he can't have babies, then okay, let's stop it now before it gets too far, too deep into the marriage. And then he says, 5 years from now, well, you never told me that you couldn't have babies. Now, it's already been 5 years or 10 years, and I invested all this time and money and energy. So you got to release all that information ahead of time, and not, hey, surprise! By the way, I have this disease that, uh, that's going to really mess us up, and you're going to have to take care of me for the rest of your life. Well,
I have to get my medicine. Hold on 1 second. 7 o'clock.
go ahead.
Where's my medicine? Sorry about that. This is my anti-rejection medication. This is my medicine.
And I'm reading the comments as you're leaving, and she's right. It's hard to find anybody that's really close and really into their deen at a young age, right? I mean, it's. I tell myself and I tell everybody else, like, it's, we all think when we're young in our teenage years, oh, we're invincible, we're gonna last forever. I'll do it when I'm turned 30. I'll do it when I turn 25. I'll get closer to my deen as I get older. And it's and she's right. It's sad to find. It's hard to find anybody who's really close to their deen at the age of marriage, right?
Yeah.
And yes, and in even as parents, parents who the generation above me, the older generation, my parents' generation, you look at them, and they came to this country and they want to make money, and their whole mindset was money, 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 and they kind of just forgot about where they came from and who they are, because they were chasing that American dream, the Western dream of owning a house, owning 2 cars, owning this, owning that. We forgot about what the real success is, right? Because in this country, in the Western society, we define success by how much money you have. We don't define success of how close you are to your deen.
Agree.
And that's where we got to understand. And that's what I tell the kids before when they're getting married, and the wives and the future wives and the future husbands. You make $50,000 a year. Let's say you make $50,000 a year. Live like you're making $30,000 a year, right? Live below your means. Don't live on $100,000 salary and you're only making $50,000. Because a lot of the reasons I get these calls after 8 years, 10 years of marriage is money, right? Money becomes like this thing where he's not making enough or she's spending too much. And it becomes this thing where it's like, you guys both have to understand, you guys are trying to live a dream of a Western society. You're trying to copy your friends. You're trying to copy your neighbors. You're trying to copy the people that you're looking at, and well, she's driving a Lexus. Why am I driving a Ford? They're trying to surpass each other. Well, he can only afford a Ford. He can only afford a Ford. Say alhamdulillah, he can afford a Ford. There's people out there riding bikes wishing that they can have a Ford. But instead of looking the other way, we're looking this way, and we're looking at the people driving a Lexus. So I always have to remind people, do not define success by how much money you make, because you will always feel unsuccessful, because you're always looking above at other people. right? We're always trying to compare ourselves to other people. So when I do that, when we talk to the younger generation about how the expectations are supposed to be and what the questions you're supposed to ask, they get confused with what do you mean? Why do I ask about prayer? Why do I have to ask about salah? That doesn't make any sense, brother. If she prays it. That's between her and Allah. Well, no, because eventually you're gonna have kids, don't you? And eventually you want to have somebody that's gonna be, teaching your kids the right way. And they get confused on the questions. Well, fasting, right? She should fast. She wears a hijab. Well, maybe she doesn't. Maybe she doesn't, and you want to know why she doesn't. And then you ask that question. Well, I don't fast. Okay, well then why? Maybe she has a health issue that she didn't tell you about yet. Right? Maybe she has a proper reason for not fasting. And this is how you get the questions out. The truth about, okay, well, I don't fast because I'm a diabetic and I can't fast. Well, okay, thank you for telling me that. You never told me that you were diabetic. But now you know, you released some of your health information. You found out she doesn't fast because she's diabetic. Are you okay to still talk to her that she has a health issue now? Or him?
I'm diabetic.
Right?
I'm diabetic and I fast.
And mashallah alaik, but there's other people that have issues that they can't fast, right? We have exceptions to the certain things, that
You're right.
alhamdulillah, Allah's very very kind and merciful for us, that He gives us exceptions. But that's how you have a conversation with somebody when you're going to get married to them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The problem actually, it's very good idea for the kids before whoever listen to us online to want to get married. Yes, no problem, but to also get advice for adults. Very important to get advice for adults, not because I love her. The love, a lot of people get love and divorce after a while. That it's very important to understand her and her family, and her family is very important. Yes.
Yeah. You do the background checks, right? We laugh, we make a joke about it. When somebody's getting married, where like if my daughter's going to get married, I'm going to do a bigger background check than we do for law enforcement, right? We dig down deep. We'll do a lot of research better than what we do for law enforcement, because that's our kids, right? We want our kids to be good, to be taken care of, right? As a parent, as a father, as a mother, our main goal becomes our children. Right? It should become our children. So we want to make sure that we get top of the line, a good guy. I don't care if the guy's making tons of money. How is he with his mother? How is his father with his wife? What did the kid grow up watching? Right? And when you see and you hear and you sit with the parents, because a lot of times when these guys get engaged, they just want to spend time with a girl. Right? They want to go out and have dinner with a girl. Okay, but have also a couple of dinners with the family. Watch what's happening and see and observe what's happening between the mom and the dad. How are they looking at each other? How are they talking to each other? Is the dad disrespectful? Is the dad a mean guy? Or does the dad show good Islamic, talking with his wife? How is the wife with the husband? Because this girl has been raised by that family.
I love that.
Vice versa. And I tell them, do vice versa. Tell the girl, come on over, and let the girl, as a girl, I would tell her, hey, go to his house and have dinner with his family. See how he treats his mother. See how his dad treats his wife.
Yes, excellent idea. Yes, I agree with you, mashallah.
And then you will see what he saw for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. You will see what he saw and what he grew up with, because that's what you're going to expect to see when you get married to this guy. And if that's something that you're okay with, mashallah, may Allah bless you guys and have a good marriage. But you can always judge and get a lot of information by just having dinners with people. Because when you're eating and you're having a good time, people talk. You can ask questions. That's the time you ask a lot of questions. A lot of good questions come out during dinner time. If you're just sitting there and having, we're going to go watch a movie and we're going to go to dinner by ourselves, every single time you go out together by yourselves, you're not going to learn anything. Talk to her brothers, talk to her sisters, and vice versa. As a girl, talk to his brothers, talk to his sister, right? Learn what they're doing with themselves, and you'll see what kind of personalities they have. because each kid has a different personality, right? Like I look at my own kids. One kid's an introvert, one kid's an extrovert. One kid likes to talk and talk to everybody and talk to the world, and one kid just wants to stay home and play video games all day. Like they're all different, but you'll learn a lot about the family dynamic just by having dinners and hanging out with the family. Right. And so that's kind of one of the things I always tell people is kind of get together more, ask questions. And as a father, I would ask those questions to the guy that's coming to ask for my daughter. All right, brother, let me ask you some questions. Let's have a sit down. You know, I'm not going to be a jerk. I'm not going to be, rude. I'm going to just ask, hey, how close are you to your dean? How close are you to your mom?
I love that. You're right.
As a father, you have to ask these questions. If you're not, I see somebody always said you're interrogating people. Well, yes, I'm going to interrogate everybody. Even the girl that my son is going to marry. I'm going to go a bunch of questions with her. If something happens to my son and he can't work anymore, how are you going to treat him? Are you going to run away from him? Are you going to walk away from him? Are you going to leave him? Or are you going to stick with him for the sake of Allah? Right?
Sunnahfollowers, if you have prepared any question, prepare your question now before we finish, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Prepare your questions in advance, inshallah.
Okay, here's one question.
We're not finished, Sister Layla.
Oh, I thought you said you wanted them. Okay.
I'm good with the questions.
Go ahead. I read the question, sister. Go ahead.
Okay, this sister here said she did not know that you could not take on your husband's name. She said now that she's heard that, what does she do? Does she have to change it?
Yes. Go to your reality. Your reality is Ibrahim. My name Ibrahim. My wife. Her name Annie Lawyer Lynn. We cannot change. You have to go to your reality. Reality is your name. Your father name is your. By the way, your father. Your father rights. Your father family rights. Yes.
Okay, here's another question. What aspect of someone's religion do you meet halfway on when looking for marriage? For example, if someone has good Islamic traits, establish their prayers are a part of the masjid, but maybe they still do holidays like Thanksgiving because they don't understand why they shouldn't. Is this something where you can gauge if this is something they can learn in the future, or do you overlook it? I'm trying to pull random examples.
I'm going to answer. I will give the answer, inshallah. But brother, any other more question? It's very important. Concentrate with the brother Muhammad. Me, any other time, I'm going to ask him. But this question here, brother, what is the celebration for example, you are a Muslim and the family not Muslims. Okay, you have to make sure your family not celebrating that. You can be involved, not involved. You can be with them, but you have to make sure not to make division between the family. No. I'm not celebrating Christmas, for example. I'm not celebrating Christmas, but come. You can go, but not celebrating Christmas. Your intention, and they have to know we're not celebrating Christmas. A lot of people ask me this question. In the beginning, I was against to go completely with that. But that the big division between the family. And you have to make a da'wah. Yes, I'm not celebrating the Christian, but I'm with you. To be our family. But also at the same time, I don't know what they do in Christmas, actually, because I never do that. Okay? So whatever they do, non-Islamic should not be involved. Yes, you are there, a person. I'm Ibrahim. I'm here. My mom, my dad, they call one Merry Christmas. What for this? Merry Christmas. You don't have to say thank you. Thank you. You cannot celebrating to show that I am part of Jesus' birthday, whatever. No. But my point, maybe Sister Layla, I'm going to make a more lecture about in more details before
I
the.
think what she asking is this. Let me put her question. I think I know what she's asking. She's not asking about that. She's saying when you're looking for a man to marry and you realize that his akida is not like yours. For example, you understand wala wal bara, but he doesn't understand that. He just prays and does the basics, but he doesn't have the knowledge, understanding of the religion that you have. Like he celebrates birthdays, holidays, and hangs out with the Kafirs. So she's asking what should be the extent of what you look for in regards to a man being on your level religiously before marrying.
Islamically, yes, you can get married with him, no problem with that. But it's good to have a good Islamic life in the household. Learn about Islam.
But that's what goes on, and that's kind of what goes back to what we were talking about before, where we say, talk to each other before you get married, right? Talk about that kind of stuff. Well, I celebrate Christmas. Are you okay with me celebrating Christmas? Well, how can you be a Muslim and celebrate Christmas? Well, I just grew up that way. Well, that's not the way I want my kids to be raised. I want my kids to be raised in a good Islamic household. We see now. And it's scary to see this, but we have a lot of social media influencers who wear hijabs, who pray, and then behind them in the background is a Christmas tree.
I saw that. Yeah,
and it amazes me because then I see the people who are following them say, well, Sister Fatima has Sister Layla has a Christmas tree in her background, so I guess it's okay because she wears a hijab and she has a Christmas tree, but we're not celebrating Christmas. We just like the tree.
In Saudi Arabia now, sister with niqab dancing. With niqab. Last week you have a conference in Saudi Arabia, dancing with niqab. Imagine this.
Don't get me started on that.
If you got a good guardian, he's not going to let you marry a man who's not on your level. That's what I was going to say. Like for me, I'm a dyer. You think I'm going to marry some man that's sitting around celebrating holidays? Brother, sorry, you're not on my level. Allah says, marry those amongst you who are salihun, people who are, most capable, most able, and most fit. And I don't see a guardian marrying his religious daughter to a man that's not practicing or whose aqidah is not on her level. So I don't think you have to worry about that.
I agree 100%. Yes, agree 100%. Or sister, question for Brother Muhammad.
It's very sad. It's very. I watch these clips, and we go back to the whole, showing your life on social media and sharing everything about your family, your lives, your wives, your daughters. And when I see people who are showing off their daughters and videotaping them and their kids and posting it online for millions of people to look at, it amazes me that how are you as a father okay with these perverted men watching your daughter running around or playing or jumping up and down or whatever? Like as a father, you have to ask yourself, how are you okay with, as a Muslim father, not even as a regular father, as a Muslim father, how are you okay with that? With all these guys watching the social media, with all these likes, all these millions of people watching your kids jumping up and down and playing on a trampoline or running or doing whatever, you have your daughter on there, you have your wife on social media constantly. Read the comments of some of these videos. I like to read the comments. And I see these comments.
Brother Muhammad is more dangerous. We are Muslims. We believe there's a jinn. There's envy, hasad. Okay?
Hasad, big time.
Yeah. And unfortunately, somebody actually in Florida,
yeah.
A person have him after the Eid al-Adha, had a picture with his wife and his kids and playing and this and that. And suddenly the whole house burned completely with Palm-Beach. The whole house. And they contact me, brother, what happened? I said, and when he told me, actually, I saw video on Facebook. Say, brother, you bring the jinn to your own house. People get envy. A lot of people don't have this what you have, and celebrating, and the house completely burned.
Absolutely.
Plus,
Absolutely.
kids that have 4 kids in the house, they're in a hospital. But I believe the one he started this, him or his wife, I don't want to speak too much because you bring death to yourself when you are pictured online and look at you have to be careful. حديث الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم البخاري give me attention this hadith قال العين حق the eyes, the evil eyes is a true. Well, with your eye you can make hasad, envy, you make sihr, magic from your eye. You never know. You have to be careful, and that's what Rasulullah told us. This I spoke with Sunnahfollowers before. It's very dangerous, brother, to build your family and showing big kids. This are people don't have these kids. People don't have money. People cannot have them to eat. They can give you an evil eye easy. Simple.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a firm believer of the hasad. I know, I've watched these videos, and it scares me that a lot of the people, well, you say something to it, and you say to them, listen, I don't think you should, put your life online. Oh, that's between them and Allah if they say something bad about me and my family. No, I get that. Yes, you're absolutely right. But it's also, you're giving them the opportunity to do this. And we back in my days, we grew up without the internet, and everything was private. Everything was kind of private. Whatever happens in the house stays in the house. You don't tell the world about what's going on in your house. Now we know what's in people's houses. We know what people are going through. We know what people are eating, because everybody cooks. Everybody's a cook online. Everybody cooks online. Everybody's showing everybody what they're cooking. And I have to remind people, you're cooking lamb and you're cooking steaks. There's people out there that don't have these things.
Agree with you, brother. You know Dr. Mersad, the president, Dr. Mersad. I was in Texas here, actually the same hospital where my daughter is right now. I was sick, completely sick, for waiting this liver transplant. I was dying, and then he drove from Florida to Texas, and he saw me. Immediately, he told Annie, my wife, Sheikh Ibrahim, somebody give sihr, magic to Sheikh Ibrahim. When he saw me, he learned from me, Dr. Massad. And the moment he saw me, I say, Sheikh Ibrahim, somebody gave him magic, sihr. He found out. And not only that, your brother Rashid, also Rashid Muhammad, also he visited me with his family from Florida to Texas. He saw me dying also. And he said, that's a sihr, magic. And true, it was magic. I was dying, brother, years in the hospital, years, and no hope.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. This is why I told you from before, before we started doing this Zoom stuff. I said I don't like to be online. I don't like to do my stuff online. Even when I go to the masjids, I tell them, please, stop the recording. If I'm going to talk, I would like to talk, to everybody, but not being recorded, because I know people see the things that we talk about, and people see the things what we do, and they're not, they get envious, they get jealous, they get whatever the case may be. And inshallah, may Allah protect us all, inshallah, and kind of keep us safe from all the hasad. But I tell people, like, you and I were having a discussion, right? We're talking real life situations. We're talking about real things. We're not showing off our houses or our cars or food or anything like that. We're trying to educate people. But there's a lot of people out there that don't want to hear the truth. They don't like to hear what we're talking about because they know that they're doing wrong. And so whoever's listening, and if people are paying attention, or brothers and sisters, please, me and him, when we do these things, we do it out of love. We want people to succeed. We need the Muslim people to succeed. We have to get you guys to succeed, because if you succeed, we all succeed. We're all one ummah. We forget that. We forget we're one people. We're one people. We gotta live together. We gotta love each other. We gotta take care of each other, because nobody else cares about us. Except for Allah.
What time now? Yeah, you make me sad, brother. Oh
It's
my God,
8:30.
an hour. Yeah, like sorry to bother you. I noticed that you're in the car.
It's
Sister
okay.
Layla, any more questions? Sister Layla? Sister Layla, are you there?
When Layla is doing what she does, she can't talk. But is there anyone have any questions? I have a comment. That was so true what you said. My thing is check out the mama and know the potential of the daughter.
Yes.
You know, so that was so true what you said, and that was wonderful. Go have dinners, check out how the father is relating with the mama. Check out all of that. That's so
Absolutely.
true. That's so true.
Alhamdulillah.
I certainly agree with that. And I mean, in days that I came up, that's the way we did it. I don't know exactly what Muslims are doing today, but you have to mingle with the families in congregation. You have to do that.
Yeah.
May
Alhamdulillah.
Allah,
Absolutely.
may Allah protect all of us, brothers and sisters. أسأل الله تعالى يا رب السماوات والأرض يا رب تحفظ المسلمين في كل مكان. أنت الحافظ يا رب. قرآن جميعا يا رب واهدنا إلى الحق يا رب العالمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. جزاك الله خير brother Muhammad. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Sunnahfollowers, we'll see you inshallah next Tuesday 7:30 Eastern time. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. في أمان.